All right. I think I'm going to be live any moment. All right. I guess we are live. 5 minutes early, as Bob suggested. So, Bob, I'm here looking for request. Okay, no requests yet. Okay, guys, just to know, I can't accept any other request because this whole thing is about me and Bob having a debate. So I can't be doing anybody else. Just waiting for Bob. All right. Hi, King Hari Chopin. Chupan, Hari is a king for me. 3 times Mr. Olympia. Okay, where is Bob? Pozdrav iz Trebinja, pozdrav tebi. Good seeing me live. Okay. Bob, here we go. Bob check. You have. Okay, receive. Pin. Go live. Okay, I push the button, so I'm waiting. There it is.
Oh, hang on a second, bro.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey, it's like looking in the mirror.
Hang on. I know, right? I can't barely hear you, though.
Oh, I'm fully up.
Uh-oh. Well, that's a problem here, because
Oh, shit.
let me see what's going on here. Shit, I don't know. My volume's all the way up.
I hear you perfectly. Like
Oh,
right here.
there we go. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly.
Okay.
I don't need any changes.
Beautiful.
All right. So before we start, just establish one thing. I want to do this for the benefit of the sport, athletes, fans, everything, right? We have a little bit difference of opinion. You've been established in this business forever and ever. Your athletes rep. And we had back and forth a few times. It's not like I'm trying to be a dickhead and just say something. Everything that I say, I really mean it. So let's do this. We're going to give each other enough time to talk, right? So to explain.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Let's give it a few minutes. Let some people get on it. Let me first start by wishing you a happy birthday, my brother. 59.
I think your daughter is today 16 or 18?
She's 16 today, and you were what, 59 yesterday?
59. Shit.
At least I know what I'm going to look like in 2 years. Nice.
Yeah. Okay, well, you have a much more mass than I do. I have to say that. You have a much more. Everybody's saying, like, how come Bob Chick is still so big? I say, I don't know. Maybe,
beats me.
Maybe he wants to defend his master's title. I don't know.
That'll be happening. I got as much chance as you do of being on that stage for the Masters.
I have a zero chance for sure. Today we were on the phone with Flavio Baccanini. Remember him?
No,
Flavio?
Oh, yeah.
65 years old. And I just go, I knew he was going to do it. Come on, Flavio. Show us the abs. Man, 6 packs right to the bone, just like always. God damn.
Who could forget those famous photos of him and Ferrigno at the Masters, speaking of which?
We talked about it, yeah. He was 145.
Good God.
Okay? But anyway, I mean, it's, 359, so I think it's about 7. I don't know if you want, I'll put the ball in your corner. If you want to start, no problem. Or you want me to start, I can always start.
Either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, we can, I can start with a little background stuff just for the listeners out there as we're, and people, keep in mind, okay, Milos and I are friends, okay? We're not bitter enemies. We don't hate each other, okay? So
absolutely.
Yeah. We like the art of debate, okay? So we don't take anything personal. We like to rib each other and have a good time. So don't worry about any of that stuff, guys, okay? We're going to have some fun, but we're also going to educate you fans out there today, because we are both proponents of the arts and history of bodybuilding. So So giving you guys a little background. Okay, what we're going to be debating tonight is changes that were made years ago. Milos has a platform. He likes the posing routine, round, whatever you want to call it, and would like to see that reinstituted. Also, the symmetry round was a separate round years ago. Now, just to give you guys a little background, in the old days, okay, they used to use a round system, okay? It's had a few changes over the years, but back in 1983, they changed it. They reinstituted the placement system, okay, which is what we use today, 83. Now, just to give you guys a reference, Milos, this is one of your favorite writers. Back in the old days, before Peter McGuff, God bless him, there was a guy named Rick Wayne who was a great writer for all the muscle magazines. And this is back before we had social media. There was no internet, okay? So we got our bodybuilding info from these guys who wrote for the magazine.
Bodybuilder, too.
And,
like for people that
you know, very underrated, Milos. I always thought he should have done better. But now, Rick Wayne was the athlete's rep, believe it or not, way back in 83. And he had a column called Bodybuilder's Form in Muscle and Fitness, where he actually wrote about reinstituting the placement system and how it was a wise decision. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to post this up after, Milos, if I can figure out how to do so.
Be good. It's a history.
Now, the reason that they wanted the placement system is they thought it was more fair. Now, the placement system, for those who don't know what that is, okay, when you get judged on a bodybuilding stage, they place you in the order that they think you should be. I think this guy's first, this guy's second, this guy's third, fourth, fifth, and so on and so on. Before that, they had some point system and some funky stuff that they were trying, because they were trying to get in the Olympics back then, and you needed a different system. They don't like the placement system for the Olympics. So that's why it was changed, just to give you guys a little bit of history as to why it is where it is now. Currently, we use the placement system today. Milos.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you've been saying, but placement system is, I see you first, your first 5 judges see you first, you have 5 points, you know, you're first, second, and fifth, now you have 8 points and stuff like that. So yeah, the lowest score wins. Okay.
Yes,
but
just to ensure that there's no monkey business going on, you get a collective score. Let's just say everybody's got you in first and there's 7 judges, okay? Mm-hmm. You get ones across the board. Everybody's got you in first place. That's a total of 7 points. The high and the low are taken out, so now you have a total of 5.
Yes.
And that's how it works, second, third, fourth, and everything. Yeah. All right, this is to ensure that nobody can, quote, screw you over on stage. Hey, this judge didn't like me. He put me in 8th, and everybody else had me in second. Well, his score is going to get thrown out anyways.
Let me just jump in. There was sometimes even 9 judges, 2 highs and 2 lows are being erased, which is even more fair.
Correct. Actually, at the Olympia, we've actually taken 3 highs and 3 lows out. So now the reason we do that, folks, is not to negate the judging process. It's to ensure the stability, and that, again, nobody can pick a favorite. If somebody, it would take everybody to be on the take, so to say, to rig a bodybuilding show. It's the most fair system that we have. Yeah. So,
but
that said, now,
what they were
judging.
Go ahead. What were they judging? Okay, what was being judged back in the days?
So now in the old days, again, going back to the point system, what they were we had different rounds. Okay, round 1 was the symmetry round, and then you had the muscularity round, and then you had the posing round. And then there was a collective round at the end, which was basically a pose down, so to say. Okay, now again, that has actually changed 6 times overall, over 40 years, okay? But that's generally what they were doing. You came out round 1, we all stood there, and even when me and Milos competed back in the early 2000s, we actually used this same system that we're talking about now. We went out, we stood there, they were allegedly scoring your symmetry and proportion and shape.
What do you say allegedly? I mean, this is very, very tricky now that you're going to, because here, before we go any further, how do you describe to people that don't know what is bodybuilding contest actually? What is the contest? Is a physique contest, not just physique, muscular physique contest. So you have to establish certain things. And for years, like I say, even though it's changed 6 times, there were distinctive difference. First round symmetry, you cannot pose. They're just judging your silhouette, like you were saying, and I really would like to play this. I mean, because it's perfect.
picture right there. He's first, he comes out and he flares the last, right? Look at that physique. Look at that fit. You can tell a whole lot about a physique from the silhouette. It should be part of the judging process because honestly, there's a whole lot of questions. I like that guy.
It should be part of a judging process. So let me tell you, it was until you guys change it. But now, what do we have in the symmetry round? Shape, aesthetics, the balance, proportion, symmetry, beauty of the sport. This was bodybuilding. So the first filter that they judge you is, okay, just stand there, don't pose. Those feet together, hands by your side, if you remember. I was many times on the stage to say, Jim Manning would call, hands together, stuff like that. Oh, so it's only symmetry, look good standing there. Okay, this is first part, bodybuilding. Now we go into what they decided, 7, later 8 mandated poses, because they pick the poses, okay, which we think from the front, from the side, from the back, I want you to do this, 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 this. And we're gonna judge and compare on the mandated poses, mandatory, okay? So show us this, what we asked you to. Now, the third round, and Joe Weider, in many conversations with me directly, said, this is true art of bodybuilding. Now here, you have a freedom to present your physique. It is physique. It's not posing. It's not choreography. It's not acting. It's not, it is poses other than mandatories that glorify your physique. And you said in the other video, I don't want to play it right now, people can see it, that you talk about it. Show the judges what you got. So when we think just about Mr. Olympias, Larry Scott, which poses do you think of? Everything except the mandatories. Second, Sergio Oliva, what do you think of? Okay, everything but the mandatories. Third, Arnold Schwarzenegger, everything but the mandatories. Twisting back, mantis, all that stuff. Frank Zane, everything but the mandatories. And that was all over the magazines, all over the internet, YouTube, and everything else, because that's the beauty of bodybuilding. Not
agreed.
Not hold on. Let me just make the final point. The way it is right now, and the way what you were heading to, it would be Mr. 8 mandatory poses. It would not be Mr. Olympia. It would not be best bodybuilder. It would be Mr. 8 mandatory poses, because all you need to see by your description is no. We just want to compare these 8 poses. That's it. Nothing. Would Arnold win Olympia on a mandatory poses, or Frank Zane?
Sure.
That would be harsh and a hard time. But what they won on, Frank Zane vacuum and all those beautiful poses. But Bob, why did you start bodybuilding? To build the body or build the muscle?
Well, both, right? You got to build muscle to build the physique.
No, it's because symmetry round would be bodybuilding. Muscularity round is becoming a muscle building. So it is becoming to the point, more is better, more is better, more is better. So no matter how freaky you are, and freaks are always going to get the attention of the audience. Oh, you can be even freakier. Build some more. Okay, just freak the hell out of us. So this was I make this comparison, bikini and the wellness, and I became bodybuilding and the madness. You just go to the extremes. Bodybuilding is about building the body, beautiful, shapely body. And before, just like you said in this segment, when you look at the Derek Lansford, oh my God, that shape, that silhouette. I mean, I'm sure you love it. I love it. So if there was a symmetry round, he would beat Hadi Choopan in a symmetry round. Guarantee, right? Then it would come to muscularity round. And muscularity round, probably Hadi is going to overtake him on just his muscularity and, hardness and definition and all that stuff. But he would be judged differently now. Okay, tell me what you judge. Okay,
all right.
Anything. I'm looking at the house across the street.
Get in there. Let me get in there. So here's a few things just to now. First of all, I don't disagree with anything you just said.
You can't.
Okay. That said, this is perfectly symmetrical. See that there? Perfectly symmetrical. That pen, right?
But not
up
shapely.
And down.
But it's not
perfect
shapely.
symmetry.
Symmetry doesn't mean left and right. You know,
This is
we
why,
know that.
hang on a second, hang on. Bodybuilding symmetry is a little bit different. We get that, right? Because you want big shoulders, small waist, flaring thighs, right? But the problem is the guy with the best symmetry rarely, if ever in the old days, would actually win the symmetry round. Okay? Every round is a combination round. It's nothing one part to anything. Everything is a combination round in
I
bodybuilding.
agree. I
Now,
agree. Hold on.
symmetry round is still in place today, Milos. It was never taken
No,
out.
no,
It's still there today.
no,
What
no.
do you mean, no?
You
That's a
can't water.
fact.
No, no. You can't water it down because you have to put a finger on it.
It's still
No,
there.
no, because you said it's not taken out. It is taken out because now it's considered as a whole. There is the 4 symmetry round poses and there is 8 mandatories. So there's 8 mandatories. Yeah, there is overwhelmingly it's double the symmetry. So if you just blend it in, right, and you're not looking, look, if you're
They
looking
are
for a shape,
looking.
no, so you and I are competing. So judges tell us who has a better shape. So whoever wins, okay.
This
And by the
it's
way,
Milos,
when you
it's
saw
all the collective. Okay, when they walk out there, the symmetry round was never taken out. It's just not scored
it's
separately.
not scored.
When you come out,
It's
they are looking
blended
at your
in.
symmetry, your proportion, your shape, your size. They're looking at all that stuff. The second you walk on stage, you're being judged.
Okay. So that's another thing where you say the second you step on the stage, you're being judged. Okay.
Correct.
Are you being judged to the rest of your time on the stage?
Yes.
Or no, because we know as we
No.
start, should posing around being judged because it's not judged. So
It
you
is
have
being judged.
it's not being judged. And you know,
Milos.
you blended it as this. Look, there
It's
is absolutely not.
absolutely being judged. It's not being scored separately. There's a difference.
Oh,
It's a
oh,
First of all,
oh,
hang on. Let me back up.
okay, so
First of all,
scored
we have a
and judging.
placement system. We don't have a point system. We have a placement system. What you're asking for is that we abolish the placement system and we go back to a point system because that's the only way you could judge things individually like
Hey,
that.
how can a subjective sport be more objective? How can a subjective sport? I'm looking at something and I'm just going to say this is better. Oh, now subjectively, which shape is better? Give me the points system on a shape. Okay, give me the point system on muscularity. So you show me what I asked for, you know, the most of it. Now the rest of it. Arnold, do your poses and win the crowd. Okay, so the posing round. So the question that you put on the poster, should posing be judged? It is like you ask any professional athlete in any professional sport, should any part of your football game, 3rd quarter, or basketball game, 4th quarter, or 9th inning, or in a baseball, not be judged? When guys are on the stage, every moment they have to be judged. So
It is being judged.
Huh? So
It is being judged.
it's not
Listen,
being judged
in the
because
prejudging,
it is.
Milos, hang on, in the prejudging, we have a 1 minute free posing around. You can do any poses you want. I don't care what you want. You want to do 10 most musculars, you go ahead and do it. You've got 1 minute to perform the routine of your choice on your own, individually, at every prejudging and every show. You are absolutely being judged on it.
Hold on. First, there was calling mandatory poses in that 1 minute. Then it was
that was boring.
It was mandatory poses. Okay. Then there was you have a 1 minute only, and in this 1 minute, you have to do all the mandatories, and you can throw in something else.
That hasn't been enforced in 15 years.
That's how it was guaranteed because some of my athletes were called on, and I was told.
They don't, Milos,
guaranteed.
they haven't done that in 20 years.
Maybe I don't know when you guys changed because I went from the States.
Listen, trust me, I'm a part of this process. Trust me on this one. You haven't seen that any athlete. You can pick up any video from any show in the past 15 years.
So even that. Okay. So now you have a
1
minute to.
Wait a minute. Isn't that exactly what you're asking for? You want the guys to be able to go out there and display their physiques and not have to do the mandatory poses. That's exactly what we have in there in every single show in the IFBB Pro League.
That's okay. I'll give you that. You have now 1 minute to show what you want, but you can't do the classical poses and all this shit because you have to have to impress the judges and do. There was always mandatories. I have a gazillion videos.
That's incorrect.
Pose by pose. That's 100% correct. Because
listen,
first they were calling the pose.
I challenge you
Bob,
right
Bob,
now.
Bob.
Go
Let's
pick,
rather have a
pick
screaming
up, hang on,
contest.
pick up the Olympia tape, pick up the Olympia video, and you watch anybody's individual routine at the prejudging, and you
From
tell me if
which Olympia?
anybody hit just the mandatories.
From which Olympia?
Yes, from any
From
show. Pick any show.
I'll bring you, as many as you want from
The,
Mr. Olympia, because
the guys are not
I
required to do
qualified for
anything
10
they don't want to
Olympias.
do.
Listen, I qualified for 10 Olympias and competed in 7, and I know what I needed to do. I was called the poses, and I was actually many times rushed the poses because Ben Demira didn't like me. So you know how it is when you do frontal biceps. He calls the last spread before I even finished my frontal biceps.
You're talking about the late 90s. This hasn't been enforced in 20 years.
Okay, so I'm talking, okay, let's then define this. Yes,
Listen, get out of the old days, Milos. Get out of the old days.
No, hold on. I'm talking back in the 90s when we had a beautiful bodybuilding. So whichever year you guys changed the rules, and now I didn't realize it's maybe 20 years already.
Physiques might have been better, but
you went from the horse on a donkey and you keep riding it and you say, oh, this is fun. Listen, before we have a beauty of bodybuilding, first shape, and whoever was shapely, this is how you win your points on the shape. Now muscularity.
wait a minute. Was Dorian? Since you want to talk about the old days, I'll go with you, brother. Was Dorian Yates shapely?
Bob, you're jumping in. I let you speak, so let me finish.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead. So you kill the aesthetics the moment you blend it in. When you blend everything in together, you kill the aesthetics because there's no more aesthetic component. Yeah, so Dorian won symmetry rounds because he was overwhelming. He has everything. V-taper, X-frame, all this muscularity and condition. So symmetry round, first, symmetry is just called symmetry and posing is just called posing. But symmetry is left and right. Symmetry, we use the term for aesthetics, for the shape, for proportions, everything you said on the video. And you said it should be judged. It should be judged. So I commend you on that one. It should be judged.
I was saying that rhetorically. Let's get that right, okay?
So muscularity now, it's the second round, and here is more muscular guy, Marcus Rule and Nick Walker, and I don't know. You know, these guys that maybe don't have exact shape, but they can overwhelm with this crazy frontal biceps and all that. Okay, these are 8 mandatory poses. But now, here comes Larry Scott, Sergio Oliva, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Frank Zane, De La Brada, Bob Paris, you name it, you name it, you name it. Bring the beauty of the sport, win the crowd, and if there are small margins right there, and I have a bunch of score sheets to show you how the guy that won symmetry and muscularity round, you know, by all the lost in the posing round big time and lost just by posing round. I have a gazillion on the symmetry round and all that stuff. So you made a cardinal mistake by one time on my judging score sheets from Hungary, stating how, hey, Milos, in which universe does Paul Dillette beats Vince Taylor in a posing round? Right. And right there is alarm. Ding, 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 ding. Hello? It's not posing that is being judged. It's a physique that is being judged. And Paul Dillette beat Vince Taylor in a physique, hands down. It's just in the posing. Whatever Vince tried to do it was not enough.
Wait a minute. So there is no posing round then?
There was a posing round.
What you just said? They're not counting the posing
round. It's a free presentation. It's not mandated presentation. So you can boil down that what we have now for the last 20 years is 8 mandatory poses. This is what's been the contest. 8 mandatory poses, and everything else doesn't matter. So
let me ask you something. So you were at the Olympics.
If you look at for the audience perspective, would audience enjoy more when there's suspense? They know they are judging the posing round. So whatever is in pre-judging, it happened. Okay, mandatories, all this stuff. Now, you know, they can win the points, change the scores, you know, and it can come on top. And guys like you and I, if you and I are tie in the pre-judging, and now we're going a posing round, I would want to overtake you on the posing. I would put the effort to beat you on that.
How? Huh? How can anybody overtake anybody on posing when you're not standing next to somebody? Who are you getting compared against?
Standing next to them. The judges already saw you next to it. Judges already compare you enough next to it. Okay.
Hang on. Hang on.
This is Mr. 8 mandatory poses. Okay.
Hang on.
Now.
Hang on a second, Milo. Let me answer you. You just stood next to each other, and they got, let's just say hypothetically, they got you in third place, okay? Now you're telling me, from the mandatory poses, you stood next to everybody, and they said, okay, I think Milos is in third place. Okay. Now you're telling me that you're going to come out on your own now, and somehow your physique gets better on its own, and you leapfrog past two people that had you beat when you were standing next to each other.
Yes, because that's what was happening all over the place in 1990s. Because now I did my twisting back shot, I did my archery shot,
So
I did everything that all of a sudden muscle appears that was not there in the mandatories. Many guys.
How can it not be there in the mandatories? We have 8 poses. Now, just to clarify, again, another teaching. Hang on a second. Hang on, Milos. Just let me give you a teaching moment for everybody out there, okay? Yes. The mandatory poses, okay? This is despite our reverence for each other, we do actually agree on some things. Okay, the mandatory poses, for those that don't know, are complete physique poses, okay? It's your body in a front double biceps position. It's your body in a front lat spread position. It's your body in a side chest. It's not just a side chest pose for the side chest. This is where people get things wrong all the time. So I just want to clarify for the people out there listening, okay? They're looking and comparing and your body next to everybody else's in the 8 mandatory poses. If you can't pick a winner from that, you got no shit in business being a judge.
How can you win out of only 8 poses when there are hundreds? Why would you limit yourself into, okay, this is enough. This is just what they found fundamentally. Okay, just this is the basics.
Well, Milos, hang on.
This is what.
How can you compare somebody?
Why is 8? If I made it 20,
you could make it
originally
20,
and there was 20 accepted, but it's not. 8 was considered it's enough from the front, arms up, arms down, side, back. This is what they found. Absolute minimum to cover everything. Absolute
Milos,
minimum.
Hang on a sec. You already had an opportunity to do that in the second round of the pre-judging when you had a minute to do any pose you wanted to do.
In 1 minute.
And then let me tell you, we say it's 1 minute. It's actually 2 minutes.
And plus, you're talking about, I'm not going to talk a lot about last 20s because fairly, I was in the 90s, so I'm talking about the 90s. You could not do this in the 90s in a 1 minute. It was not even a 1 minute. There was
we're not talking about the 90s.
Huh?
Get out of the 90s, bro. It's not hammer time anymore. Okay,
why would I get out of the 90s? If 90s golden era, and you hear this million times, golden era. For what reason is golden? What kind of era we are in right now? So
well, that's that's got nothing to do with the judging. It's got everything to do with the physiques.
We need a next level improvement, right? So you want to tell me that bodybuilding improved and the what do you call it? Presentation round improved and the posings now improved.
The physiques got worse. That's what got worse.
CNN or ESPN or Netflix do the special right now about the bodybuilding and said present the bodybuilding to the mainstream media. What were you going to show? Vince Taylor, the Frank Zane, Bob Harris, routines.
All right, I'm going to meet you. I'm going to meet you halfway right now. Okay, so forget about the 90s, but we're also going to forget about the Men's Open, and we're going to go to the Olympia Classic.
Okay.
Classic division, okay? Because now you got the best of both worlds. You got guys that aren't out of control.
It's completely different categories. No classic bodybuilding.
Bodybuilding is bodybuilding.
What?
Bodybuilding is body. Classic physique is bodybuilding.
No, a man's physique is bodybuilding. Bikini is a bodybuilding. I mean, you're building the body and presenting.
It's all body, yes.
It's
I mean, in effect, right?
But listen, when I watched first time, 2019, I think, there was, and I mentioned this example. Chris Bumstead was going against Brian and George Peterson. And by my standards, and I do this for 50 years, I mean, I'm not a professional judge, but I know what I'm looking at. So when I look at these meditate poses, and man's physique has classic physique only have a front, back double biceps, side chest, ab shot, and then classic. So they have basically 4. At that time, Chris Bumstead had a weak back and weak arms, no biceps.
Agreed.
Okay, and he would win over these 2 guys with the crazy backs, crazy biceps, shape, everything. I mean, if that was bodybuilding, there's no way on earth he would win. But I was told right there and then,
Classic
no, Milos, this is not classic bodybuilding. This is classic physique. I said, what do you mean? Oh, no, we are looking for different things. We're looking for structure. Oh, okay, sorry. That's why with limited height and weight and all that stuff, it's not bodybuilding. And why is even classic brought in? Because we lost the beauty of open bodybuilding, because aesthetic component, symmetry round, was taken away and blended.
That's not the reason why.
That's
not the reason why. Listen,
why.
drugs are the reason why. Let's just get let's get the brass tacks. And let me tell you something. This is no reflection on you by any stretch, but let me tell you something. You know what's changed over the years? Yeah. We got too many damn coaches out there who are leading these guys to these gross physiques, and they're too big. That's half the problem right there. Insulin has ruined physiques over the years. I'm sure you'll probably agree with that.
Absolutely not.
Too much food, too many carbs, too many drugs.
No, hold on a second. This is now completely different. We can do the insulin debate next time.
I want to get off on a rant on this other stuff, but let me stick back to where I was going.
Okay.
Hang on. The Olympia this past year, okay, in the classic division, Terrence Ruffin, you are familiar with, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, arguably, probably the best poser anywhere today, right? I would say.
I think that Logan Franklin is better.
Either one. I mean, I love Logan. Okay, great guy. Both of them I put on an even keel, but that's perfect. So we'll take Terrence Ruffin though at the Olympia. He ends up taking 6th place. Okay, obviously off the mark.
Yeah.
Okay, normally he's a winner or a 2nd place or 3rd, whatever. That said, he was still the best poser out there, as Logan wasn't in the show. So if there was a posing round, and he had won it, should he be 2nd place?
Hold on a second. Posing is not posing, choreography, dance, anything like this. Movement.
So it's just a physique round,
It's
right?
Physique round.
Okay, hang on.
Hold on a second.
So it's just another physique round, right? His physique was judged.
Off. He's still equally off if he does an ab shot or one-arm ab shot, or if his physique is not dialed in.
Right.
And he's off. He's off anyway.
Correct. So it's not a posing round, okay? So let's just establish it.
No.
Right. It's another physique round. Okay. Hang on. It was another physique round, and he was already deemed in 6th place out of the other physique rounds. So the posing round has nothing to do with nothing.
No, posing. So hold on. Let's not even call it anymore posing round, because.
But that's what they call it. That's why we lobbied to get rid of it.
No.
By the way, not for nothing, but let me take you back a little bit.
Let's not call it posing round. Let's call it free presentation round.
They call it that. They call it the free posing round. Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Free posing. That's fine.
Just listen, we all simplified, so we use the symmetry round for the shape aesthetics. We use posing round for free posing. So you pose. The football players play football. Basketball players play basketball. Bodybuilders pose. We pose. So, okay, how do we pose?
Agreed.
Well, first round, we couldn't pose. Symmetry round, you don't pose, you just stand there. Muscularity, you pose the way I tell you. I want to see these 8 poses because I think these 8 poses are minimal for me to assess your physique. Now, you have
just said bodybuilders pose, but why do you like the symmetry round?
Let me finish my point. So we established symmetry was for shape aesthetics, balance, proportion. Okay, I judge you on that. Good. Now, give me these 8 poses that I request. There's a mandated poses. I don't give a shit. You don't like front double biceps. You gotta do my front double biceps. You gotta do my lat spread. You gotta do what I ask you. That's mandatory posing. Now this is a stretch. Now here comes Schwarzenegger. Here comes Frank Zane. Here comes Bob Chikra. You're a great poser. Okay. So when we have we start bodybuilding. Bob, that's why I asked you, why did you start, for muscle building or for bodybuilding? You want to shape your body, and then you want to compete at the highest level. You don't want to show the grotesque, just muscle mass. You want to show the beauty. Okay, so now you have a chance, every of this authentic, original, your poses. So instead of being carbon copy, average, copy, it should be called Mr. 8 Mandatory Poses. Unless you want to judge the physique. So if you want to judge the physique, give me that free posing that I can win you on my poses. On my, there is over there my statue, right? Okay, guess what? And
Beautiful.
I didn't pick the frontal biceps, right? So,
all right, hang on. So let me ask you this now. So if you think it helped you so much, I've got to ask,
Uh-huh.
1999, this is right in your wheelhouse, Toronto Pro, you take second
Oh yeah.
place. And you took second place to a guy named, for those who don't know the history, right? Pavel
Okay.
Jablonecki. Now, Pavel was a great bodybuilder when he was in shape, but he often missed the mark, but he hit it pretty good on this show. But you take second place. Now, Pavel couldn't pose his way out of a paper bag, whether it was wet or dry, okay? He was absolutely horrendous when it came to posing, right? Now, if you think the posing round, how the hell do you lose to Pavel if you're posing, and you're posing, again, we like to compliment each other on our
Yeah.
posing, but you were one of the best back
Okay.
then, Milos. I always give you that. How the hell does Pavel beat you if the posing round was judged and scored as
I,
it should have been?
I'm going to tell you. This is a good example, but I'm going
Please.
to give Pavel a credit because 2 weeks later, at the night of the champions, he smoked me in any which way, right? In every round. And I'm claiming this. If he can pose his way out of the bag, or doesn't matter, he still has that physique, the fucking triceps, the chest. I mean, it's freaky. He looks
Wait a minute.
freaky. But
All
at that
right, wait a minute.
particular
Stop,
show,
stop right there. Stop. Hang on.
yeah.
Stop right there. So all this stuff that you're talking, right? All these things that you were doing, right? Didn't mean shit because it didn't get you above him. He couldn't pose
It was
for
not
nothing.
enough. Look, it would not be enough.
So
Because
it
judges
was
would,
useless.
it's not useless. But okay, now let me just say this,
Milos.
and please don't interrupt me, because now you mentioned the example. There was 99 Toronto Pro. Nimrod King was promoter. Okay, so I went there and competed, and I was winning the symmetry, and I won muscularity completely. And then I got in argument with the Nimrod King backstage. He went into my face. I went into his face. He called the security. You know, I had an issue with security. Okay. And then here comes Wayne D'Amelia. And Wayne D'Amelia, look it down and say, you should know better. Okay. This is how I lost my posing round. Okay. If you point out to the 99 Toronto Pro,
What does
this
that
is
got to
how
do with anything?
I was penalized.
So
and that's why I didn't win. Because
so you
if
think
pick
Wayne
the
penalized you?
If you pick the contest, I have many other the score sheets that I can read it to you. They tell you. I mean, I'm not trying to win the argument. I'm just trying to tell you the facts. Okay, I maybe overlooked there was already 20 years since 90s. It is 2023, But when I talk about beauty of bodybuilding, I'm not trying to convince you. Everybody that is listening, this is going to hear your point and my point. For me, there is much more aesthetic component, and all the aesthetic athletes would benefit much more if they are judged in a symmetry round for what symmetry stands for, proportions, what you said right here that we played.
They
Silhouette,
are being judged in the
you can say
symmetry
a whole
round.
lot about physique from the silhouette. Okay?
They're absolutely being judged in symmetry. Absolutely.
Okay, so you are
You
now the
just
judge.
you don't get
How
scored
did
on
you
it.
blend that in? How did you blend that in that you see Derek looking like this, and you see him probably, and you should, winning that symmetry round. You probably saw him winning there. So now, how did you count these points into the muscularity
Well,
round?
let me ask you. So let's hit the Olympia since it just happened. Who did you have winning the Olympia this year?
I would still give it to Hadi. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I did Hadi too. Okay.
Yeah.
Does Hadi have the best symmetry up there?
Okay.
No.
Hold on. Not best shape, proportions, yes. I mean, proportions, balance.
Okay, go ahead.
Balance, upper body, lower body, back, front, side, okay? Derek beat him in a shape department, the craziest V-taper ever, right?
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Again, it's not just shape and silhouette. That's why when you ask, how can Dorian Yates win? It's shapely based, but conditioned force. You still have to force the condition. If you're fat and you have a best shape, too bad, so sad.
Both guys are obviously in great shape. I mean, we got to both guys are in great shape.
But
Okay.
aesthetics component is taken away by blending into the muscularity round. So I'll tell you here, 1991, Lee Haney's last Olympia. He won symmetry round. He won posing round. He lost muscularity round. So if there was judging like now back in the 91, and he would, okay, maybe gain, but muscularity round is win by Dorian Yates, what would happen? Really? That's just one of the examples, just to think of, because somebody reminded me
Well,
of it.
here,
So,
I'll stick in the 90s with you.
but,
Dorian Yates wins the 94 Olympia. Sean Ray takes second. Dorian was a horrible poser. I mean, I don't care what he was. I mean, what was he displaying? A torn up body, torn up bicep? How does Sean Ray, who's arguably, I know you butt heads with Sean a lot, but Sean was probably one of the best posers of all time, right? How does he lose to Dorian Yates?
Because he was not emotionally moving, earth-shattering, like he put it on the chat. He says posing is supposed to be emotionally moving. So that's why.
How do you judge that?
Exactly,
how do you get a point?
Because it's not the emotionally moving scoring. It's a physique. It's a physique
Bro,
score. So
let me ask you something. Who was a better poser? Who was a better poser?
What?
Who was a better poser? Vince Taylor or Lee Labrada?
Hold on a second. Poser doesn't mean anything. Bodybuilder. Bodybuilder in a posing round. Okay. So in a posing round, from entertainment standpoint, Vince Taylor entertained more. Lee Labrada showed more physique. Okay? It is physique round. It's not entertainment. I don't disagree with some people that say, okay, even add additional points for entertainment and for emotionally moving Sean Ray.
So you think you think you should get points for that?
Yeah. I say this. If somebody, I would consider it even that group of people supposed to sit together and discuss this. Because listen, the only what happens. Audience.
No, wait a minute.
Audience and fans win. Audience and fans win if they see the better routines, if they see the competition, if they see it's not why do we even have a prejudging in finals? Why don't we just blend it in one? If you are only judging that body round.
Let me stick with this Olympia again, still, right? The best physique up there, in my opinion, was Samson Dauda. Yeah. Now, and I know I think you trained him, right? Okay. So Samson, I think, had arguably the best physique. Again, symmetry-wise, if you're going to go for a symmetry round, all that. Now, he wasn't 100%, but he was up there pretty good, right?
Pretty good, yeah.
Now, posing-wise, nobody up there could pose worth a shit other than Samson.
Yeah.
Samson had the best, quote, routine out of all of them. Now, he displayed his physique. He put it out there and all that stuff. Should Samson have placed third place because he could display his physique better than the other guys?
Hell yes. It's physique.
He should. So you would have had him with
yeah, not because of posing and all this stuff. It's presented physique.
Well, the physique he presented, where would you have placed him?
Let me just finish. So even you, 40-something years in bodybuilding, pro champion, Olympia competitor, analyst, historian, you just made a comment that he impressed you and possibly has the best physique out there. And it's best shape, complete, nothing missing, okay? But then he lost on the virtue of what? Maybe a little bit conditioning, okay? So when I made that comment, how did Nick Walker's physique beat his physique? I said, okay, if you just look conditioning and that's determining factor, okay. But that's why I'm telling you, if there was 3 filters of the physique, symmetry filter, muscularity filter, and free filter, win me the show. Show me what you got. Okay, show the audience, show the world, show the beauty of bodybuilding to the world. Do we improve our sport, or we let boring 8 mandatories that we've seen already in this 1 minute? We've seen it together, mandatories on the compulsories, and the same mandatories, most of the people go on the posing round, they just hit the mandatories, stick the tongue out and do nothing. That's boring. I am a fan. You're a fan. I can't watch the whole show because I know. I had a guys that tell them, let's do this routine. I said, Milos, why would they do routine? They don't judge. So it's like we are in a high school, and now they say mathematics is not going to be scored. You and I are going to be mathematics experts? Who cares? So you lower expectations, you lower the efforts by telling all these athletes, hey, you know what? It's not going to be scored. It's not going to be scored. Just be there looking pretty on the stage. So 3, 4, 5 hours Olympia, everything that was happening there at the finals, you didn't even judge because we already judge you in the morning. We're going to say, like you said, oh no, it's still being judged at night, But if you judge, I have a symmetry filter. Okay, now I have a muscularity. And muscularity, like I said many times, and Bob, take this seriously. These 8 poses, before it was 7, okay? 8 mandatory poses are chosen as the minimal to show every muscle from every angle. Minimal. And Joe Weider, I promise you, when he was saying, why the hell are you doing back double biceps? Do the twisting back, and I look great in the twisting back. All of a sudden, muscle appears that I don't have in the back double biceps. But now the judge, then looking, oh shit, Milos has no back. Oh, he has a back. He just didn't know how to show it. And now I showed the Labrada back, the Betty DeMay, Chris Premier back. You know, it's all there. Hold on a second. So now I was assessing physique in mandatories, and I wrongly assessed you don't have a back, but you do have a back. Now, because in the free posing routine, you show me all these back poses that, holy shit, why didn't you show me earlier?
But Milos,
I suck in the mandatories.
You had an opportunity to show your twisting back, 3/4 back, kneeling back, any kind of back you wanted to show. You got to show during your individual presentation. It's
So
still there. You got a hang on. You got a chance to show your symmetry when you first walked out there and they had you do quarter turns. You got a chance to show your individual poses, what you thought was best for your physique in the individual posing routine, and you had an opportunity to go heads up with everybody else at the same time hitting the same pose for those 8 mandatories. Then you had a confirmation round later on, and you had a pose down that they still could have judged you. How many more rounds do you think we need to assess a physique?
A break. If pose down was ever judged, give me a break.
The judges have every opportunity to judge. When you're on stage, you are getting, and you teach this stuff, right? I know you do. When the second you step on that stage, so the second you stop off, you're getting judged.
That's what I'm saying. That's why posing rounds should be judged. Hell yes.
No,
but
it shouldn't be judged.
Posing as a routine, as a movement, as emotional content.
How do you judge
it? Physique round.
How do you judge it? How do you judge Frank Sinatra?
How do you judge,
who's a better musician?
Mantis pose of Arnold, or a front twisted biceps, or a twisting back, or this pose? Arnold, you just show me 10 spectacular poses that nobody can touch you in this one. Okay, so should I just consider that you have a wide waist, a little bit smaller legs, you never did the triceps pose and all this shit? Ooh, no, you overwhelmed me. You made me believer. You won me Olympia.
Let me ask you this. Could Melvin Anthony display his physique pretty good on stage, or Darren Charles?
Yes, hell yes. But Melvin Anthony could not diet worth of shit.
Tricky Jackson, King Kamali, Vince Taylor, right? These guys were the only guys, by the way. I've seen, you've probably seen more shows than I have, but we've collectively seen thousands of shows, right? The only standing ovations I've ever seen were for those 5 guys I just mentioned.
But listen, hold on a second. Okay. And I love King Kamali.
Entertainment is your key.
Entertainment, yes. But it's, you see, and I said it because I was hired to do the commentary.
Guys $20,000 for that. That's what I say.
Standing ovation. He won the crowd. He was most entertaining. And I said he showed the 4.5 poses. He showed in this whole routine 4.5 poses. So if I'm a judge, I would penalize him, not award him. So on that note, I was telling you, should you even bring some extra judging for that entertainment? Or, it's possible. Look, out of this conversation, it's not about, because I love talking to you, because you are an expert. You've been in this forever. It's you make your points. But I think that I make sense when I'm telling you. It is physique, best muscular physique. So best muscular, not Hulk, it's Superman.
Agreed.
Are we choosing superhero look, or are we in a monster look? So this is why, when we used to have in the 90s, our shape and symmetry and proportion, we had a cleaner look. And now it's just like, give me more, give me more, give me more, give me more. And that's going to go endless into the madness.
But that, I say, and I don't disagree with that. The problem is, I don't think that's got anything, that's got nothing to do with the scoring system or whether the symmetry or the posing is scored. It's got nothing to do with it because you're judged on it all. We've just gone through this. You were absolutely judged on it. By the way, not for nothing, Milos. But in the 15 years since we changed this rule,
Huh?
not one judge has ever come up to me and said, geez, you know what, Bob? I really had a tough time deciding who the winner was last show. I think we should add that posing round back in so I can give points to a guy when he's standing there all on his own. How do you compare? How do you give points to anybody when you're not we're in a sport of comparison?
First, okay, now to answer that question, by forcing the guys to sharpen up and make sure they present their physique, and you told them it's not a dance contest like Branch Warren says. It's not King Kamali and
Right.
shake ass and all this shit. It is Lila Brada. It is Francis Bimpado. It's your routine that I posted. I really love that routine and all this stuff. Anybody, I can stop somebody on the street right now and say, hey, how about this routine? They're going to watch your whole routine. And I actually did. My Japanese wife, she has some Japanese ladies come in. They don't know anything about bodybuilding. I show them routines, that I think they're good. They watch from beginning to the end. And I show them some of it. And within 15 seconds, they're looking at each other, okay, okay, thank you. Thank you. But this is not Japanese ladies. It's everybody. If you want to present on a Netflix special, okay, this is what's going to happen.
All right,
Bob, listen. Just think about this. You and I going into the contest, and now we know that posing is going to matter. Yeah.
It absolutely can matter.
So bodybuilder poses. Football player plays football. Okay, the pose. So why don't? And you heard this from many guys. Oh, I hate posing. I have a guys. Give me your free posing routine. I don't have one. I said, what do you mean you don't have one? Aren't you a fucking pro bodybuilder? I don't have one because I'm just going to do my mandatories. But because you guys let that happen, you lower the standard. You let them get away with it.
Come on
let
now.
them get away with it.
It was never being judged the way it should have been to begin with, which is why I wanted to get rid of it back then. You're a historian of the sport. Who's a better poser, me or Marcus Rule?
You, definitely.
Okay. 2002 NOC. Down to me and Marcus. Beauty and the Beast, right? I got better symmetry. Who's got better symmetry and proportion, me or Marcus Rule?
You had a symmetry.
Who's a better poser, me or Marcus Rule?
It's not poser. It's what you show.
Who would a better presentation, me or Marcus Rule?
No, it's not even a presentation. So let's define this. This is perfect example. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you, Bob, for telling me this. The Marcus out-muscled you big time, out-conditioned you. The fucking
he wasn't conditioned. I was in better condition than he was. Easy. Come on now.
2002. I don't remember right now.
I remember.
But okay. Yeah, you respectfully believe that you should have won. Same like
absolutely.
Beauty and the Beast, Dorian or Sean Ray, 94 that you mentioned. Beauty of the Beast. Beauty of the Beast. It's the same example.
Sean Ray should have won that all day long, bro.
As much as I like the beauty, I can see when Beast wins. I can see it. If Beast has enough, attributes that he can beat my beauty. So I mean, Nick Walker could possibly be Mr. Olympia, and he's one of the favorites to win.
So you're just saying if you're just big and muscular enough, you could just overcome all that beauty and flow and all that stuff you're talking about? How?
Dorian did, no?
No. The question isn't yes, he did, but should he have? Sean Ray wins that competition all day long.
Hold on a second. Should he? Yes, I said that back in the 90s. That's the worst thing that could happen because now you're painting. Okay, this is what you want, so let's make sure that everybody looks like Mr. Olympia. So this is why. Are we in a muscle building or a bodybuilding industry? What do we want? If you want a bodybuilding, then enforce the beauty and shape, emphasize it. Okay?
Well, wait a minute. Allegedly, the posing round was being scored back in '94. How does Dorian beat Sean Ray? He beats him in the posing round.
Okay.
How?
But you're like, we say Shvaba Tralala in Serbian. I tell you something, you're not listening, you just keep your song.
No, I'm
not the posing.
Listening. It's not making any sense.
Hold on a second. Bob, you keep saying posing. It's not the posing that was being judged. It was physique in that third round that they call posing. The physique was still physique in the first round, physique in the second round, physique in the third round. Dorian still, hold on. Dorian was
all beat up.
The back shots, I mean, hey, the bicep shot. He showed a lot of other shots other than mandatories with overwhelming mass. Okay, I am a Sean guy. I said this publicly. If I was a judge, 94 would be Sean. If I was a judge, but I'm not. I'm not an expert. But I'm bodybuilding enthusiast and a fan of the beauty over the beast.
We're circling back to what we said. We got off. You know, we get in all kinds of tangents. But at this year's Olympia, where did you have your boy Samson placing? Third place.
Third, yeah, third. And if he was really given the one-on-one comparisons, you know, with the Derek, possibly second. Derek was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. A shock of the show, all this stuff, but it's still softness from the aspect from a chest, shoulders, arms, abs, right? So it's not as conditioned as everything else. So Samson was at least as conditioned all over here and considerably bigger. I mean, you know, but yeah, Nick Walker took it against me that I said that I would have had Samson over him if I was a judge. I'm not, you know. So
listen, I give Nick his due, but I had the same thing.
I think the judging is very good. Listen, it's easy for you and me to say what we think, and I also think that you're more into the beauty than the beast bodybuilding. Okay, so especially then, if it's more beauty than the beast, think about it. If you have a beauty filter, symmetry round, okay. If there was a symmetry round, Derek would be first and Samson second, probably. You know, this is how you would. And then Brendan Curry, you know, put it on the paper. Establish who has a better shape. This used to be. Is this better or worse? I don't know. I just want to open a can of worms for you. You are at least representative, okay? And you talk to the officials. And, you know, look, I know that Jim Mannion loves beautiful physiques. I know.
Yeah.
I talked to him many times. Okay.
Sure.
So he will be a guest. Tyler likes beautiful physiques, right? Yeah. Okay. So if there's direction that IBB should be going, right? Don't let blind muscle building, because I'm not even mention health reasons. But if the only way I can win this show is to freak you out and, you know, make a madness of my physique and get bigger and bigger. Oh, I'm big. But guess what? Next year I'm going to be even bigger. At what cost? And it was approved. It was, you know, the accepted. Oh, judges accept you and be bigger. So, you know, that's my standpoint. But no bodybuilder should be on a stage at any moment and not be judged, if you ask me. And you said it. At any time.
And they are.
But they're not. Honestly, they're not.
Milos.
We say they are.
Any judge will tell you, the second they step on, and again, I know you teach these things many, many years now. Have you ever taught any of your guys, when they're standing in the back, you know, when they do the call-outs, have you ever taught any of your guys to relax when they're standing back there?
You've seen Gustavo Badell, what was that, 2004? Yep. He was on the side, 13th guy called out. And back then there was 3 and 3 and 3 and 3.
I remember that show, yeah.
Listen, Gustavo, I'm a judge. I'm going to look at these 3, you know, but I already have an idea. I'm going to look who else is good. Who else is good? You know, so you're going to have to attract the attention by stay tight, abs, legs. All
absolutely.
I do this. Yep. Nowadays, Bob.
Oh, wait a minute.
But nowadays, I can send you the picture of the guys on the side. Oh my God, it's a Buddha bar, fucking stomach out, legs relaxed.
Well, listen, they got bad coaches then.
What?
They got bad coaches. Listen, this is another PSA for everybody out there listening, okay? If you're a coach out there, do not ever teach your guys to relax when they're standing in the back waiting to get called out. Because I'm telling you right now, just like Gustavo, and let me tell you, I remember that show, Milos. Gustavo was like in 8th place, maybe even lower, and worked his way all the way up to 3rd place. Credit to him. And ultimately where he ended up, because when he got out there, he came alive, and he posed the shit out of that competition. But that said, the judges are always looking, okay? And this is kind of where we're getting to the big finale here. The bottom line is this. There's a difference between being judged and being scored. Now, under Milos' system, like you could probably have 10 rounds with different things. Should you get a score on conditioning?
Yes, sir. Then listen, I agree. If judging and scoring is not the same, then I am all for scoring. because that's objectiveness. Score, show me, show me. Because you said judges are judging even when they're posing. How really? Now I already
They
predetermined.
are.
I have a Nick probably third here, and he goes for a posing round, and he doesn't do much, just most musculars, this and that from the biceps. Okay, Samson comes out and show the beauty of his physique in a 15 more poses other than mandatories. Flow, everything is good. Okay, that wasn't enough to maybe take over. It could and should. And then next show, Nick or somebody, just use him as example. Ooh, I have to step up my game. And if bodybuilders step up the game and they have a best posing routine, who wins? Oh, I think I'm too dark. Okay, let me.
What happened? You lost your posing light.
Too much.
Oh, now it's too light.
Yeah, shit. Okay. Yeah, because I realized I don't even see myself. Anyway.
You missed a posing light. There you go. That's better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen. There's a fine line here. Okay, between the under replacement system, they're taking all things into consideration: symmetry, proportion, shape, muscularity, conditioning, and presentation. Any judge is going to tell you. And speaking of the judges, when I presented this, I don't know, whatever it was, 15 years ago, it was however many people were in that room, it was 20-0. Not one person wanted to continue with scoring the, quote, posing round when it's not a posing round, as even you've now said.
It's not a posing round, it's physical round. But Bob, speaking of that, why did you even propose this in that meeting? Your athletes rep, did any athlete contact you and say, hey, Bob, let's change this? You don't like it?
I had many athletes back then ask me about listen, I figured this out in 5 seconds.
Let's name
them.
I
name them, I can't name them from 22 years ago. Listen,
you have a memory.
Milos, I get a collective.
Let's change it. You sure? Oh, Sean said, let's change it. Dorian said, Lee Haney said, I said, very well. So now
nobody listen, anybody who had 2 eyes could see that nobody was posing this. The posing round was a makeup round. As you just said earlier, for the Wayne DeMillias of the distant past, okay, all they did was use that round to put people where they wanted to put them, as evidenced by the fact that you said Pavel never should have beaten you on that show. It was because of politics.
That was the argument. It was not about the actual competition. This was
right. So you're saying it was
showing the power. He is in a power position. I should have known better, but I don't play no games.
But see, Milos, this is the problem I got with this, right? And this is the problem I had with it then, and that's why I wanted to get rid of it. So it was politics. I'll take you at your word with that. I'm not contesting it. But you can use the posing round any way you see fit. Because you could sit there and go, I thought the other guy was better. There's no criteria, okay? When you have a sport that's based on direct comparison, nothing is worth more than those guys standing next to each other hitting the same exact pose at the same exact time. I'd say the 8 mandatory pose round is worth twice as much, or it should be, than any other round.
Okay, then make it twice as much. Then make it twice
I'm all for it. Listen, we did it with
fitness. Like fitness content.
Like fitness.
Fitness routine at 33%. I mean, listen,
correct.
That's the idea. Okay, that's the idea. I'm not against it. But not giving any points, for creativeness and poses under the mandatories. Think Arnold, think Sergio, think Frank Zan, think Bob Paris, think all these phenomenal athletes that you Google it now. Please, after we finish this, Google Arnold, Google Sergio, and you see how many mandatory poses you're going to see. You'll see everything other than mandatories, and that's what they are known for. That's what bodybuilding is known for. These poses. Oh, so why is this taken away? This doesn't matter.
It's not taken away.
Huh?
It's not taken away. That's round 2.
Because the twisting back of Samson. That twisting back on Samson. Variation of triceps pose.
He got a chance to do anything he wanted to do.
What?
He had a chance. Samson, like every other competitor on that stage, absolutely has a chance to do whatever they want to do. I called him out for the free posing routine. He had 2 minutes to do whatever he wanted to do.
He did, and he was not scored.
No, he was judged.
You can say that it's blended in.
Hang on. What kind of a score can I give a guy when he's standing out there on his own?
Oh, he showed me, Arnold impressed me more than Lou Ferrigno. It doesn't matter, they were doing completely different poses and pumping iron, okay?
What if they're about the same?
Huh?
What if they're
You know,
what if I got 5 guys that did a nice routine?
hey,
I thought,
listen,
you know what?
it's
What do
not
you
the
do then?
routine that is being judged. It is pose. So all these different poses. Goddamn, I'm in too dark. Hey, hold on a second. Let me turn the light on.
What the hell? Hell's broken loose here, folks. There we
No,
go.
but because shit, might as well see me.
They're shutting the lights off on you over there. The
Yeah, goddamn.
here's the bottom. It's
Hey,
hard
guys, do
to
we have
listen.
only
We have a
1 hour,
placement.
or we have a more? Because I don't know how this works.
I have no idea. But
I don't know
so
either.
if when we have a placement system. So how would you place these guys? How would you give them a quote score when it's a placement system?
Hey, so I've seen in the symmetry and I've seen in muscularity, and I agree that maybe muscularity should be a double points or something, because this is fundamentals. This is what it is. Okay, this is majority, and otherwise, right now it's Mr. 8 mandatory poses, Mr. Olympia. It's not Mr. Olympia. It's Mr. 8 mandatory poses. But if I have, and I'm second, third, or Samson 6th after the muscularity round, and I can gain on my not posing routine, on my poses under the mandatories that I'm going to present to the judges. Hey, listen, guys, I have a frontal biceps here, but do you see my archery shot? Okay. Do you see my twisting back? Do you see mantis pose, all this shit? I mean, seriously, is this also bodybuilding or that's not bodybuilding?
But how is that
bodybuilding is
better
only
than the
8
other guy?
mandatory poses.
How is that better than the other guy?
Because the other guy probably can't do it or doesn't look as good. So you don't have to necessarily see them next to each other, but if you suggest, okay, then let's expand mandatories. Let's add 10 more poses, 10 more poses, and you choose 5 that show muscularity and 5 that shows more shape. And
we could be there until midnight every show with all these poses and rounds and scoring. Listen, you've had 3 chances by the time you get to the night show to show the judges why you're better than the other guy. We don't need another scored round. When you're on your own, let alone. I think that's useless.
Alone is useless. That's the beauty. That's art of bodybuilding.
No, I didn't say take it out. But I didn't say get rid of it.
Because there's a pointless of any guy being on the stage alone because you can't compare.
Correct.
So your idea is you should not be alone because that's
that's not what I said. All these are useful tools for the judge, but the whole show in our sport is comparison. This isn't a talent show. This isn't America's Got Talent or the Best Singer competition. It's direct comparison. Who's the better bodybuilder? That's what we're looking for.
Direct comparison. Okay. Who is a better bodybuilder? If I judge only 8 mandatory poses, or I judge all
What's the difference?
Arnold twisting backs and Sergio.
Bro, you're not. It's not just the 8 mandatory. You keep saying that, but you're wrong. It's not just the 8 mandatory poses. Now, if you want more comparison with the guys out there at the same time, I'm all for it.
Poses. Nothing else is being compared. It's straight up 8 mandatory poses. Nothing else is being compared.
So what more do you need? I don't need anything more. I can pretty much pick these guys as they're walking out onto the stage.
Me right now, I can hit 100 poses.
Oh, I'm sure you could.
Okay, so why is only 8 enough for you to see what kind of bodybuilder I am? Let me
because that's all. Because I'm seeing your body from the front, the side, the rear, and in 8 different positions to assess your fit. I don't need another round. I don't need it.
Why wouldn't you need it? Because this is in a limited way. In this 8, you convinced me. But now I show you 20 more, and I disconvince you.
But you're not going to convince me you're better than the other guy when you're out there on your own.
Oh, yes, you can.
No,
you can look
at
it. Listen, Bob,
absolutely not.
It's not about routine and everything else. You see the guy with the spectacular shape and performing and all. I don't want to say that emotionally moving routine, because oh my God, this is so great and beautiful. Or,
I don't either.
A robot that Vince Taylor did, it was phenomenal, right? Or
beautiful,
of the Opera of Melvin shit. But you still look at the physiques. I mean, John Brown back in the day, right? These archery poses and all this shit. I mean, I don't need to see him next to Serge Nubret to now see Serge, you have your chance. Convince me. John, you have your chance. Convince me.
Let me ask you this, Milos. Last year, well, every year, but last year there was a $10,000 first place award, 10 grand at the Arnold for best poser.
Thank you for
that award went to Brandon Curry. Now, Brandon was the most surprised person of everybody,
Yeah.
but there
Stamper
wasn't
won that
one
one.
good routine in all those
Okay.
routines.
Stamper.
If 10,000, hang on, my question to you was this, Milos. If $10,000 isn't enough to get these guys to put out better routines, what is?
Yes, but hold on a second. How many times do you or any promoters give that posing award? Once, twice a year, you know?
It should be
And
every show.
it should be every show. Why? Because you want bodybuilders to pose better, to put the effort, to give it.
Correct.
This is what you want. Well, you took
Yep.
it away by telling them we're not going to judge your posing
No,
routine. You took
I
it
didn't
away,
take it away.
and now you're going to
No.
give them $10,000. Hey, put a routine. So you lower the standard of a.
No.
This is not even professionalism. This is amateurish routines. Okay,
Absolutely
but you're going to give them
not.
$10,000 for a best routine. Okay, so 10,000 is first place in any smaller show. So you put the emphasis. I mean, Logan Franklin won 10,000 in Sean Ray's.
Beautiful
routine. Imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine. So you guys want to see, audience want to see, the sponsors want to give this money. Okay, please give us routines. Remind us on Lila Brada. Remind us on Muhammad Makavi. Remind us on the beauty of a bodybuilding. It's not present anymore. So let me give you $10,000.
Here's part of the problem, okay? We wax about the old days, and I know you love the old days in the 90s and all. Listen, bodybuilding was better back then in terms of physiques, depth of the competitions. I'm sure you'll agree. You could get to 10, 12 guys, and you still had some damn good physiques up there. But I do have to clarify one thing for the people that are listening and watching us right now. We tend to look through rose-colored glasses, especially you, Milos, when it comes to the old days of who the great posers were, because we can bring up the same 5 names. They'd always come up when we talk about the old days. The fact is, most of the guys then and now are not good posers. Most of the guys that you competed against were not good posers. Dorian couldn't pose. Nasser couldn't pose. Dillette couldn't pose. I can keep going down. Jablonecki couldn't pose. You can go down the guys who won competitions over Ronnie. Listen, Ronnie was not a great poser doing this stuff. I mean, come on, man. I mean, listen, he was walking left stage and right stage winning Olympias, right? The same guys we talk about Labrada, Ray, Milos Sarshev. We talk about whoever. I mean, it's the same 6 guys that we talk. Bob Paris, right? Beautiful, great poser, right? It's the same 6 guys. The other guys sucked, and they suck now.
There's many more, but okay, if you have no judging and you encourage guys, just go do your mandatories. Don't worry, or you scare them away. You can lose the goddamn contest by not presenting your physique as you should as a professional top Olympia contender. Okay,
you could do that now.
You guys took away that. Don't worry, you're being judge overall. Don't worry. Or if it's judge, of course you should be judged. Now, I say choreography and dancing skills and the movement all just helps. Of course, emotional thing, movement that Sean is talking about, all that helps. If you see a beautiful routine, you remember forever. You go home, wow, that was great. Okay, audience wins, fans win. Or you say,
absolutely.
But do you care for the audience? Do you care for the fans? Ask audience, do they want beautiful routines or they just want a mandatory pose? They already seen it, the prejudging. They've seen it in that confirmation.
They want entertaining routines is what they want. They don't even want beautiful routines. They want entertainment.
I don't know. I like to see entertaining every so often, but I would take beautiful,
of course,
routines better than entertainment.
I mean,
I didn't like some of those breakdance bullshit. Some people can pull it off, but I didn't. Because stomach is out.
At the Olympics, Terrence Ruffin's probably the best poser on the circuit, along with Logan Franklin, as we said. But his physique was off at the Olympia, so he would fix. I don't care how much of a great presenter or poser he was. It didn't make his physique any better. In comparison, that's where you lose the argument, Milos.
No, I don't lose the argument. Listen, again, if Terrence would show about 10 more poses and muscles that are not, because they only have 5 poses total.
Right.
4 because the other
No, this is just 3 posing routine.
But in mandatory poses, they only have 4, right?
Yep.
Front, back down, biceps, side chest. abs and okay.
Side
So
try, yeah, whatever.
they don't have a side triceps.
No, they don't do a side.
They
Okay,
don't
whatever it is.
have a side
Whatever it
triceps.
is,
Whatever it is.
his
But yeah,
routine
okay.
is fantastic,
It
but
is.
it didn't make his physique any better.
He could have.
How?
Listen, but
How?
but listen, if you and I are judging, if you and I are right now judging, and he is sixth after the prejudging because you say, okay, this guy was a little bit better, okay.
Right?
But now he showed me this twisting back, and back looks much better than his normal back, and abs that he's showing us, it looks much better, and arms, they're maybe his weakness. Now he showed me he can win me over.
But after he can't win you over because
the difference between the fourth, fifth, and sixth place might be minuscule, and you know that very well. Sometimes differences from first to it's nothing. So, and I tell you, I have it here. I mean, trust me, I took this here, just to show you all the judging score sheets and all this shit.
Right.
To show you here. I have many of these examples. In '97, okay, here's Canada, which I won. 5 points in the symmetry. Mike Materazzo 16, Chris Cormier 11, Claude Goulet. Okay, so Mike ended up second, right? In muscularity round, Mike beat me 7-8. Okay, he beat me. He was
in what round?
Muscularity.
What was that?
Round.
Oh, the muscularity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Then
that makes sense. Yeah.
Posing, I am sixth. Chris is 10. Mike is 14. And then confirmation round is still 7, 9, 14. Which means they judge it. They really did judge it. Okay, because what's his name? Chris has a better shape. Okay, so he was ahead. Mike was more conditioned, muscular. Okay, he won. The posing again, better posing and more shown from the physique. Mike Materazzo did.
So you won the posing round.
What?
You won
the
posing round.
I won, and Chris was second. Okay.
Right.
And I don't know if he was even. Third.
So you won. I'll guarantee you. How many shows did you win in your career? 3, 4?
One.
One? Come on. You got to be kidding me, really?
No, 1 out of 72. I'm the worst pro champion ever in the history of IBB. Yeah, by record.
Hey, I'm right with you. I didn't have 72. I only won 1, so we're in good company. So every show I mean, hypothetically, you could have won more if the posing round was scored. However, now you were in the top again. Hypothetically, and I told you this before. I actually did a little homework myself. You were in the top 5. I don't know, 40 times or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, most of the shows you were in the mix. Okay, you're somewhere between obviously 2nd and 5th in almost every show you're in. Very consistent. Again, that said, if the posing round was actually scored as it should have been back then, you would have won probably 30 shows.
No, but again, if you say posing round as a posing, I was okay poser. I was not a great poser. When I look at my posing routine, I say, I suck. I could have done that so much better. But I was okay.
Yeah, very good.
I was
very
okay.
Good.
But again, it's my physique, right, that was being judged. So I have no problem. Bob, I'm not trying to win this
If it's
argument.
a physique round, then it's not a posing round.
It is physique round. It's not posing. That's why.
But we don't need another physique round. That's what I'm saying. We don't need 5 physique rounds to figure out who's best.
We do need the 3 physique rounds. We need 3 physique rounds. One is symmetry, stand there, don't do nothing. One is muscularity, give me this 8. And one is give me the free posing. Free
That's there
poses.
Too. They're all there.
Posing, not 5.
Yeah, but we don't need them all scored.
Why would you not score?
Because we have a placement system. Because it's a collective.
Larry Scott won his first Olympia.
Well, I don't know what system. I think they actually probably had a placement system back then. But keep in mind now, there was like a handful of guys back then. Larry Scott competed against like 2 other guys in that show.
Guys, Maynard and
what's his name? Maynard and Harold Poole. And some of the old days, I mean, again, folks, we like to go back old, but we can't go too old because in some of these shows, some of these Olympias, there was 1 or 2 guys in the show.
Okay. But listen, so we can wrap it up this first one, and maybe we can have another one when we get the feedback from her. So I am under, for sure, impression that we should have 3 distinctively different posing rounds. Judge all 3. Judge me standing, Judge me in the your poses you want, mandatories, and then judge me in my free poses. Let me show you what I got. Judge me. Okay? So this is my not and if you want to bring entertainment and you want to beauty and all this shit, that's other thing. But physique should be judged three different ways, three filters. Red,
Well,
blue,
the
and green.
problem is they're all combination rounds. What if the softest guy in the show has the best symmetry?
Is still softest is at the end. Yeah.
Well, so
And
it's a
this
collective.
is,
It's not really.
but,
See, this is what I'm saying, Milos. So it's not just a symmetry
yeah,
round.
but this is how it was. That's how Dorian was winning, and all this. You know, it's not just. It has to be conditioned shape. It has to be conditioned and big enough, muscular. I mean, if you're small and symmetrical and balanced, you're small.
Well, you can be small and muscular
So
too.
it has to be a combination of everything: size, muscularity, conditioning.
If they're all combination rounds, then the placement system is still the best system. I'm taking everything in and putting it all together and making an assessment. That's why I say, and I'll say it again, you're always being judged. You're not necessarily being scored on the individual particular things. If that's the case, we could go for best hair, best tan, best conditioning. But we could have
best
50
only.
rounds for Milos.
Best physique, best shapely physique, best 8 most mandatory poses. Okay, and I don't know, that's mandated by who originated this, and they chose 8 and we just accepted. We are just sheeps following, follow the blind. We were told that 8 is enough, so 8 is enough. Who determined that 8 is enough? 8 was the minimum. 8 was the minimum to determine front, back, side.
Yep.
That's minimum.
Well,
So
I'm
why
all
do
for
we
more.
limit ourselves? Why
I'll tell you what.
To 8?
I'll tell you what, Milos, we're going to end on a good note here. You and I are going to go on the same page for the first time in our collective history. I say we add, like they do in Classic, an optional pose to the mandatories. Your pose of your choice.
Yeah, no.
Come on now.
No, I mean, it's moving in the right direction, but it's not. Look, I'm not speaking nonsense. I know that you are determined to defend your blended in. Everything is being judged at all times. It's not.
I don't have to defend it. They all agreed.
No, that's what you say. There is no way.
What do you mean? All
that,
the judges agreed, Milos.
Yeah.
All of them. Every one of them. All 20 of them. It was 20-0.
At the time, yeah, they maybe thought this is a good idea because maybe that's easier. Okay.
Because it was a good idea.
Let's accept it. No, I think it was a horrible idea. I just accept it.
Of course you do.
So that's what I'm telling you. In a business, in a life, sometimes you make wrong choices. And then after a while, you realize, oh, shit, that was the wrong choice. What do? Continue? Or, okay, I've seen it better. Let me do the better. Let me go my own way. For me, it's really, routines 100 times worse than before, okay? Shows are not as entertaining as before, okay? Physiques are not as good as before. Conditioning is not as good as before. So that's why we talk 90s and now. It's not like who? 90s was golden era with the scoring system.
Well, I disagree respectfully. The 90s were the golden era of physiques, not the scoring system, because let me tell you something. We could have a whole other show on who should have won Olympias and who shouldn't have, because I got Sean Ray winning at least 1 or 2. I got Kevin Levrone possibly winning 1. You could make a case for Victor Martinez in 07, although I still had Jay. Who else do we got, Milos? So there's a whole bunch. The only guy that went unscathed to me was Lee Haney. Lee Haney wins 8, no question about it.
I do think, I'm going to make this statement. I think the judging is great. I'm not kissing ass. I think it's great. Because if I...
and I had Nasser winning 1 too.
Sorry? Yeah. 97 Olympia, yes. 97 Olympia. But let me tell you, 97... So just think of this. 97 Olympia, he should have beat Dorian. We talk about this.
Absolutely.
Week later, we go to, I can tell you, I have it right here, show by show, 97. Week later, first show is Hungary. Let me just get it because it's so close. Come on.
By the way, that 97 Olympia, neither Nasser nor Dorian could pose.
That was pretty good. Okay, so Mr. Olympia, that was okay. You see, in Olympia 97, Dillette ended up 5th, but he was 3rd of the symmetry round. Okay? And Dillette was 7th after posing, or 8th. So
He should have been. He
hey,
should have
that
been
doesn't
dead
matter.
last after.
Look,
He should have
so
been dead last after posing.
so 5 days later, okay, I beat Chris Cormier. I was 7th. Ronnie was 6th, 7th. Chris was 8th. 2 days later, Chris Cormier beats Nasser somebody in England. Okay,
Different shows, sure.
7 day difference. Okay,
Well, Milos,
7 day
7 days.
difference.
You know better than anybody. In 7 hours, you can look
You
like a whole
could, yeah,
different person.
but again, and then on and on and on. And then remember the 97
Let
Ronnie.
alone
But
different stage, different lights,
but what
different
I'm
judges,
saying
different
is
lineup.
differences are very small at that level. So should we just generalize judging and put everything through the same filter? Or we should have, okay, shape filter. No. Tell me about who wins the shape department. Who wins this round? First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Give me the points. Let me
It
see.
doesn't make any difference. Here's the difference.
Guys,
You can have a different guy. Hang on. You could have a different guy winning each round. Okay. Hey, this guy's got better shape. Hey, this guy's got more muscularity. This guy's a better poser, whatever, right? And still a fourth guy beats them all because overall he's better.
But the
Right?
judges scored it down, and you can see it. And that's now the objectiveness.
That's what the
I have
judges
no
are doing.
see,
They're
this is why
looking.
guys hate me, because if I say that Marcus beats you, in that 2002, I think that, yeah, I could see judges giving to him, but you think that you're better. You will not like me because I said Marcus beats you, right? But I would
My
have
mother had me in first place, I'll have you know.
so what?
My mother had me in first.
I'm sure.
My mom. That's
I'm
right.
sure.
Listen, I don't think, do I think I beat Marcus? No, not really,
There you
obviously.
go.
But if you were going by the rounds, I'm kicking his ass.
No, I don't think so, because it's still, look, when I say shape, it's condition and big enough muscular shape. So
listen, I wasn't small.
When Dorian Yates was so much bigger than Flex Wheeler, right? And more wider, and there is more V taper to him. You can see why judges, Flash has more beautiful shape, no question about it. So shape department goes to him. V taper, X frame goes to him. Conditioning goes to Dorian. Okay, so from a first filter, but I'm not judging posing. Front, side, relax, and back. This is what I'm judging. But I have to put the points down. It's more accurate than if I blend it into the muscularity and then blend it into the posing.
Nah, see, I'm going to disagree because of this right here, my friend. This, which I will attempt to post. Again, Article 383. They actually says in here, the reason they got rid of the point system and went to a placement system was it was too difficult, number one. It made for a lot of ties. That was a problem. And it didn't reflect, because what people would do is they would judge it by placing them and then making the points fit in there. Because ultimately, I'm looking for the best bodybuilder overall. I don't care who has the best symmetry. I don't care who has the most muscularity. And I really don't care who's got the best posing routine. I want the guy who's got the best of everything.
That was Rick Wayne writing 1983.
I'll try to post it. My wife will be able to figure. Yeah, you'll like this article, actually. It's pretty cool.
Okay, but if that was 1983, what happened to the scoring system all over the 90s? So his was not accepted. We have a scoring system.
They still did a placement system.
No, before there was, you put the points, 20 points. It was live judging.
Yeah,
all this.
Like I said, they did they tried 3 or 4 different times to put some different system. And again, most of that was because of the Olympic push and all that Ben was, rest in peace, was trying to get us into and all that, because the Olympics don't like anything that's got an element of opinion to it. They want actual rounds and points, like ice skating and gymnastics and stuff like that. That's actually where that was born from. But ultimately in bodybuilding, it reminds me, remember the old, I don't know if they did this when you were growing up in Yugoslavia or whatever. I know you were here in the States fairly early, but do you remember the body part trophies? Do you remember when they used to get body part trophies, like best arms, best back, best legs? No?
heard of, but I don't remember
So
any show.
in the
No
early, like
shows?
when I was a kid coming up, like in my teens and through my early 20s, they used to get body part trophies out at shows. So you would actually go out there for best chest, best back, best arm. Shows lasted forever, of course. But I remember a guy winning almost every one of those and then losing the show because he was put together like machinery. You know what I mean? He wasn't particularly good looking, you know, physique wise, but he had big arms. He had muscular everything. But he lost the show because overall the other guy wasn't the best at any one of those things, but he was the best overall. That's what we're looking for at the pro league here, buddy.
If you're looking for in pro league to increase aesthetics and beauty of the sport and professionalism of presentation, you would bring it back in. You know, it's amateurish and it's non-eventful, and nobody's trying hard, and nobody would try harder because they would have no reason.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. Milos, I love you, brother. You know that.
Round one.
Round
one.
You know I love you, bro, and I'll leave you with this. I may not always be right, but I'm never wrong.
All right. All right.
All right, Milos. Take care, buddy. We will catch up. Hey, give us your comments on.
Happy birthday to your daughter, man. Okay.
Give us your comments on Milos's page that you're obviously watching right now, and you catch.
I just hope I'm not going to screw this up right now. I want to save it.
Yeah. And then you can catch me at IFBB Pro Bob Chick. We'll catch up with you guys, man.
Okay, Bob. Hey, good.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
All right. See you. What do I do now? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, maybe somebody can help me. What do I do now? Okay. Hey, Xavier. Xavier is here. All right. Make sure you post it. Okay. I want to post it and save it. Can somebody instruct me what to do? Do I push that X button? I think that's what Danny James told me. Nobody is giving me instructions. Okay. I saved it. Okay, you saved it? Okay, whoever saved it. If I don't save it, please send it to me. Okay, love you guys.